You have been watching Concrete Prairie on Visual Radio Arts. Right, but who are Concrete Prairie? Now, before I introduce them officially, I'm going to give you a little bit of a story because I'm in sort of being very open about things. I go out and see a lot of gigs, and I said to my wife, I'm going to go and see a band, the Go-Go Cult, and they've got some Americana band playing with them because I knew nothing about them. And I turned up, they were already playing, I walked round the corner, and I was blown away by their sound. Fantastic sound. So I hope you've enjoyed Concrete Prairie, but who are they? So we'll find out. We've got Tom on the drums.
Hello.
We've got George.
Hi.
We've got Joe.
Hello.
Dan.
Hello.
And finally, Adam.
Hello.
But find out a little bit more about them. So, starting with yourself, Tom. When you're at home and you're relaxing, what are you listening to?
I listen to everything. Such a diverse range. A lot of classical. I play piano a lot, so I love a lot of classical piano. Alcon, Liszt, Hinastera. I was listening to some Pantera today. So I love a more extreme metal. I also love a lot of jazz and good old rock, you know, Skinner, Allmans.
That's a good variety. And I did notice earlier on, you know, you were doing that thing. You know, Dan had mentioned how difficult it is to play bass and sing, and I thought, hang on a second, Tom is playing the drums and the piano at the same time. And you didn't notice.
He didn't complain either.
So I was going to say that was something. Okay, influences both for drums and for keyboards then.
Yeah, well, I think all of my influences have one thing in common, which is the rhythmic element. So I love rhythm. You know, piano is a percussion instrument. So, you know, great jazz drummers going back, but I started off on rock and metal, so, you know, Pantera, Vinnie Paul, that's such a powerful drummer, but also had groove, and so there's a lot of blues and a bit of a jazz, quite a free feel as well.
Well, I did say to you earlier on that you've got a bit of John Bonham going on in there as well, with a bit of power.
Goes without saying, yeah.
George, moving on to you. You're at home, you're relaxing. What are you listening to?
Yeah, I'm rarely relaxing, but I do listen to a lot of music at home. And I suppose quite a mixture. Maybe the embarrassing stuff is more the 80s power ballads. Definitely.
Okay, moving on. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I train classically, so I do still listen to a lot of kind of early Baroque music. But actually, a lot of that stuff's quite similar. It's got lots of kind of crossovers with the folk.
Yeah.
Traditional Scottish music. My husband's from Edinburgh, and I lived there for a bit. Yeah, and then definitely a lot of kind of Alison Krauss, and then some of the new Americana bands coming out of the States, Newgrass. So quite a kind of mix of stuff, really. And
influences as far as fiddle is concerned, who would you say would be an influence on you fiddle-wise, style-wise?
So I think my kind of style has just come out of all the different types of music that I've played. But the fiddle players that I really love, I can think of like Chris Stout, the Shetland fiddler, who's just this amazing Scottish fiddler, but with quite a kind of lot of rhythm and jazz. But also Alison Krauss. Yeah. She's just absolutely, you know, she's beautiful. She makes such a lovely sound.
Fantastic. Excellent. Joe, moving on to yourself.
Yes.
Are you at home? I'm not sure if you're relaxing.
Sometimes.
What are you listening to?
Again, a broad range like the other guys, but primarily probably sort of indie from my youth, so noughties indie guitar bands, 80s electro I listen to a lot of, and sort of synth pop. And yeah, sort of 70s songwriters, Neil Young, Springsteen, etc. And then yeah, I sort of love like drum and bass stuff, electronica. Yeah, folk obviously, and Americana, country. Yeah, which sort of ties into this a little bit, but yeah.
Fantastic. I was going to say, there has been quite a lot of crossover recently with folk musicians kind of getting more into the electronic music side of things. A number of really good players. Who influences your style?
Probably, I think, let's talk about songwriting a bit, probably, for my influences. There's a guy called Simon Aldred who was in a band called Cherry Ghost. It's sort of mid-noughties. They were sort of northern from Bolton, and they were playing this sort of really miserable Americana music, which really resonated with me. And yeah, so the sort of the name of that band was Cherry Ghost, but primarily it was the songwriter Simon Aldred, who's gone on to become a bit of a career songwriter now with writing with all sorts of famous people. So he's a big influence songwriting-wise. Whenever I'm trying to write a song, I always think it's got to be somewhere around there. I don't know if they are, but that's the aim. Yeah, Springsteen, love his sort of character play and the way he sort of gets into character in song. Neil Young, obviously. And then country-wise, Hank Williams, and we mentioned him earlier, and how some of his songs are so sad, but they haven't got a minor chord in them. And so yeah, I wonder.
You
I don't know
can
if
write a song that's sad in a major chord.
That's it. So yeah,
it doesn't have to be in D minor.
That's very true. Yeah. So that might shine through in what we do. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think go that vibe.
Dan, moving on to yourself. I was going to say at home, relax, maybe.
Yeah, probably too much relaxing, to be fair. So in line with kind of our sound, I listen to quite a lot of dub reggae at home.
That's very in line with your sound.
So yeah, King Tubby, Sly and Robbie, Johnny Clark, and then R&B and hip hop. I've got Lauryn Hill and Nas kind of looking after that genre for me right now.
Yeah.
And then kind of on the more kind of country alternative, some Pine Grove, Bonnie Light Horseman, their first album's incredible. So, you know, quite a lot of always trying to learn from music, trying to listen to new things and trying to get some use out of my record player as well.
Absolutely. It's interesting, actually, having talked to everybody except for Adam at the moment, but, you know, quite a variety of stuff, everything from sort of Pantera and classical right the way through, you know, sort of indie and, you know, hip-hop. It's quite a collection. Right, OK, surprise us.
There's no surprises.
What do you listen to?
I'd say mostly 70s music.
Yeah.
This will actually try and drag me out of the 70s to listen to other stuff. But, yeah, Neil Young, Springsteen.
John Prine?
John Prine. Listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin,
Okay.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Love the Beatles. Yeah, I sort of don't move past the 70s. I should do probably, but I don't.
You see, now the question has to be then, Beatles or Stones?
Beatles, every day.
You see, I'd be on the Stones.
Right, okay.
Controversial.
Absolutely. OK, let's just talk a little bit about your songwriting. So you write the songs, Joe?
Yeah, I sort of come with the bones of sort of chord.
How do you make that then into a song? Do you just play it to the rest of the band and everyone says, right, OK, fine, I could do this? Or do you have kind of direction that you kind of give them in?
Sometimes not. It depends sort of how it forms in your head when you write it, really. Sometimes I can hear the drums going like this here, or I could write a riff myself and ask Adam to play it, or if he comes up with something better, then play that instead. But yeah, it's just, for me, I think I kind of come with the bones of a song, usually vocal melody and chords, and these guys sort of make the magic around it, really, and hang loads of pretty things on it.
I was going to say, it's very, very different when you're doing solo stuff as a solo performer, and then you're playing as a band. You know, you've got to make it in a very different way.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really I did sort of some solo performing, but it wasn't really for me, because I was sort of playing things and thinking, oh, there should be a really nice guitar riff here, and it's not there. And so yeah, that's why I love playing in the band. And I think the more minds you've got working on things, it can make something special. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And we did joke earlier on. I said, you know, you seem to write happy songs about grim subjects.
Yeah. I just think without sounding too depressing, I sort of suffered a bit of grief and death in my time, so it's kind of write what you know sort of thing. Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, if I was to write everything in a minor key, it would be really, really sad. And I don't know if anyone would listen to it, and I think if I was to have to play that every night, then I think I'd get even sadder. So.
Well, you've got the kind of liveliness of bands like the Levelers.
Yeah.
You're kind of doing that in a kind of country style, which, you know, really kind of ticks my boxes, so
nice.
It's really, really good. Cool. Right, let's just talk a little bit now about gigs that you've done. So things that you've enjoyed, your festivals you've played, gigs that you've done, anything that sort of stands out?
Rockaway Park, where you saw us. That was super, wasn't it? What a unique place.
It's an amazing venue, yes.
Yeah, good sound. We had good fun playing there.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, brilliant. I really enjoyed Americana Fest we played last year at the American Museum in Bath. Okay. Because they had sort of the Americana greats there, like Ethan Johns, a few other sort of bands on the scene at the moment, Treetop Flyers and Morgan Way, and it was nice to sort of see that standard of where everyone's at and sort of fit into that. And yeah, I think we played a gig the night before that in Cardiff as well,
Yeah.
And we weren't too sure how it was going to go. We thought it'd be a great warm up for Americana Fest. Have a
Yeah.
gig the day before, night before, and the promoter sort of said, "Didn't he? Oh, hi guys, thanks for coming." You know, and sometimes there's 10 people that turn up, but sometimes you get like 150, and we were kind of like, "Oh God, what are we going to do?" And it was amazing, wasn't it?
Started playing the first song, and about 150 people
Yeah.
walked in.
And they just loved every note, and I didn't know if they would,
Yeah.
but they, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardiff Hindu scene really sort of came to our rescue that night. It was incredible.
Great gig, yeah. I don't know about anyone else.
I think the recent one that we just done at Bradford
Yeah.
on Avon, the Roots
Yeah, the
Festival,
music centre.
the stage and
Yeah.
the whole auditorium of it was amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastically
Real
run.
experience.
Really well run, wasn't
And what have you got coming up in the way of gigs?
So next gig we're going to be in Swindon at the Tuppenny
Okay,
on the 23rd of
yeah.
February,
excellent.
and then in March we're at another Americana Fest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seven
March
Hills.
the
19th
19th.
March,
Yeah.
okay, fine, excellent.
at Bath
excellent.
Comedia, yeah.
And I did a little bit of kind of looking up, and you've just released an album, or
Yep.
say last year you released
Yeah.
an album, and I think you got a 10 out of 10 score in a particular magazine.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, God, yeah. I was over the moon. Americana UK.
Just you.
So I think we
That
all...
cost us a lot of money. That was very expensive. No, we didn't.
Well, yeah, we
didn't-
certainly weren't expecting a 10 out of 10. And, yeah, I mean, they review lots of great music and stuff that, you know, is just fantastic within our genre. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was not surprising, but it was just kind of a bit of a wow moment. Thanks, Americana UK. Because, yeah, they must get so much good music.
Yeah,
and they
no,
still go to
absolutely.
10
I
out of
think
10.
from that perspective, you need to absolutely applaud yourselves because when you put the effort in, you've
Yeah.
recorded something. You want people to appreciate it, but you don't expect necessarily they're going to. And then when that happens, it's a real boost.
I think the main thing is we know from being regular readers of the website and everything, we know just how tough they can be.
Yeah.
And they are true to the core with what they're reviewing. So to get the 10 out of 10
Yeah.
was like out of this world. Yeah.
Fabulous. We've put on a great show tonight. Where can people catch up with you? What social media do you have?
Who's going for that?
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Concrete Prairie.
At Concrete Prairie, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
fine. And where can people buy your album?
Yeah, I mean, we've got links on our social media to buy the album. We've got a website, you can get on there, concrete-prairie.com.
Best thing is come to one of our gigs and we'll
Yeah.
we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll sell your
You'll
CD
prize our
there.
cash away from us.
But yeah, the album's on. Yeah, it's on all the usual streaming platforms. So
Perfect.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
hear it on there.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for coming along tonight and playing for us. You put on an excellent show. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
You've
having
been
us.
watching Concrete Prairie. I've been Carl Sutterby. Thank you very much indeed, and good night.